right, welcome to Davita's Stampin' Spot. It is Tuesday at 4 o'clock. Yeah, I know, I wasn't on yesterday, but Kent had a doctor's appointment at 4 o'clock, and I didn't have anything ready to share that was already recorded. So we're gonna do it a day late. And my tip and trick, I'm hoping to get it recorded after I do the live today, and it'll post tomorrow. So as you can see, my room's a mess. I've had people say, "What is that behind you?" That behind me is the crib that my dad made for my kids when they were babies. And now I use it for my grandkids, which is kind of cool to use in another generation. All right, I'm going to swing the camera around here. All right, so I actually have pretty decent light tonight, and I even have my curtains open. Kind of cool. So at my technique class for November, we did the baby wipe technique. It was a reminder for a couple, brand new for a couple of my gals too. And I figured out something kind of by accident. Isn't that how a lot of great things happen by accident? And I wanted to share the accident with you because I think a lot of you probably already know the baby wipe technique. So I'm grabbing a baby wipe here. Any of them work, doesn't matter the brand or any of that. The thing I want to do, because I'm frugal, is I want the baby wipe to be just as big as my largest stamp, because we're going to add ink drops to it. And if you're putting ink all over this, then you're wasting your ink. And I don't like to waste my ink. So that's about the right size. All right. So I've cut down the size of my baby wipe. I'm going to flip it over so it's a flat surface here. And then we're going to start with the drops. So I chose fall colors that I like. So, and I just changed my mind on one. All right, so we have Blackberry Bliss, Cherry Cobbler, Wild Wheat, Pumpkin Pie. The ladies that came to the class are going to say, "Really? You found the pumpkin pie?" Completely forgot to get it out, and not a single one of them said anything to me. So they didn't get to add orange. And I'm going to add just a little bit of Old Olive. Now, I start with the lightest color. You can do it however you want. I think I'll start with the Wild Wheat. You're just going to put drops on the baby wipe. And as you drop the drops, you're going to see it start to spread out. And what you're going to end up doing is you're making your own ink pad here. So as the drops start spreading out, and I always kind of put them in a row and then put them off to the side so you don't accidentally do the same one twice. I love this technique, and I usually only do it around fall time because I think it's so pretty with fall leaves. But in the past, whenever I would do it, isn't that interesting? So the wild wheat almost has a greenish color to it, but now the green is a little darker, so it's kind of like the wild wheat almost has a light green color to it. Anyway, so you fill this whole thing up, and I'm so frugal, it's like, well, I have all that ink, so whenever I do this, I stamp a whole bunch of images. Even if I don't have all the cards figured out, you can always add your cards later, but you want to take advantage of all these drops of ink that you're putting on your baby wipe. And you don't want a lot of white space, so see, I'm trying to fill it in here. So those of you that have asked about Kent, he's doing really well. If you haven't heard, he was trying to climb up on our roof, goodness, 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And he's not really sure what exactly happened, but he does know that the ladder went flying and he landed on his right foot first on the cement. And a week ago today, we went to the surgery center and they fixed his foot. Didn't quite go like the doctor thought it was going to, but he was able to fix it. It's a long story. I'm not going to bore all of you with it. If you want to hear the story, just let me know. I'll be happy to share it. All right. So I've got all of that there, and it looks like a mess, doesn't it? Does not look very pretty at all. But let me show you what it looks like when you stamp with it. All right, so I am using the Changing Leaves stamp set. I just love this set. I love the images. The words are beautiful. You're amazing in every single way. I really like that one. All right. Now, I like to just push it in one spot. Usually I tell you when you're stamping to, walk around the ink pad. I don't encourage you to do that with this. I'm sorry, I'm setting up another light here. It kind of seems dark in that one spot. There, and there we go. I like to just do it in one spot because otherwise you get really pretty mushy. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that leaf. Look at all that color. Now, I didn't follow my rule, and those of you that came to class the other day are going to say, ha, we got you, because you didn't do it either. Forgot to put my mat down so that I get a better image. I always tell everybody, if you can see through the stamp, you need to use a mat. All right, so I'm going to get it on a different spot here. You wouldn't have to clean it every time. I like to just because I don't want the colors mushing together too much. I'm going to take the next leaf here. And stamp. All right, so these baby wipes that I had have been used in several classes, and I like the image, but it seems just a little dry, and it looked a little more dry with this one leaf than this one. So what I discovered you can do is just take water and spritz it up a little bit and give it a little more oomph so you can get better image out of it. All right. I didn't find that little. Okay, well, we're going to keep making do here. What I started to say is I had a little tiny leaf that I pulled out of another stamp set that I was going to add. Completely forgot to grab it. I got sidetracked here. All right, so let's see. I think I'll add one there. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's much more juicy now with adding the water. Okay, so I'll do another one here. I cut a few big pieces. I am going to grab a white. I will tell you that you do get extra ink some places where you don't want it if you're not careful. So you want to kind of watch where you're laying stuff down. All right. The reason I took the mat away is because I do have the glass mat down. And sorry. And I think it was the but baby wipe wasn't wet enough. So let's try it again here. Oh yeah, that looks better. All right. So what you do is you just ink and stamp. Now, a reminder for you is that don't just do your front paper. All right. And here's why. I made the mistake of doing this. I didn't remember that I have an inside to my card and an envelope to decorate. So I had to get out another baby wipe and more ink, and it just felt wasteful. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to do two fronts here, and then look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love all the colors. All right, so I know I've made two cards, so I'm going to grab two sheets here. And what I got extra here. And I'm going to stamp just on the corner so that I can add a greeting later. But now this theme carries through of the baby wipe technique. You could do a solid color, but if I have the opportunity, I like to carry the same stamping style or whatever to the inside. So I'm going to do a leaf. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all that color. Love it. And then I pulled out a couple envelopes. My fingers can grab it. I will say, right now we only have the white envelopes. So keep that in mind if you're doing this and your tendency like mine, oops, I messed that one up, is to do the very vanilla. Keep in mind, unless you have some old ones, you're not going to have envelopes to go with it. So keep that in mind. Sorry, I forgot to grab 2 envelopes. I'm grabbing another one here. All right, so this is the baby wipe technique. Don't leave yet because you haven't seen my secret surprise yet. And I have to admit, I've loved this. Oh, look at that. I've loved this technique for years, but this little added thing, I just absolutely love. All right, so we are going to take this sprayer and we're going to pick this paper, this baby wipe up. See all that gook there? We're going to make some more. So let's pretend I've made all the cards I want to with the leaves. And then we're going to make that mush. Okay. Don't really know what to call it. So mush works, doesn't it? Lay that off to the side. Now, clean your wheel off or it's going to mess up your image. Maybe I should try one with the wheel and see what it looks like. Got extra paper. Maybe we'll try that here. I'm adventurous today. Oh, and by the way, your hands are going to get really messy. So don't do this if you're getting ready to go to a fancy party. Oh, I just missed that. All right. Busy talking and not paying attention. All right, so we're going to lay this on here. And then we're going to roll back and forth. And because I smeared it, it doesn't look as good as I wanted it to. But let me show you what it looks like if you're doing it right and I'm not talking. So the last time I did this, I did lighter colors. But look how this turned out. Isn't that cool? So we'll try it again. We'll try it again. So we're going to take the baby wipe and lay it. You want it on something that isn't going to absorb all your ink. We talked about this at class because people were saying, well, I don't have a glass mat. What do I use? And you could use like if you've got a Pyrex pan or something that's glass or something that would resist the ink because you don't want it absorbing it or this doesn't work. All right. Just make sure it's big enough. All right. We'll try this again. See, that's what I get. And we laugh about that at class. If everybody's quiet, I say, oh, everyone's so quiet. And they're concentrating, which is good. So then they all feel bad that they're quiet and they start talking. And then they mess up because they're talking. So I'm a good example of that today, too. I'm talking, so I'm messing up. All right. So now we've got all those spots. We're going to roll across here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? You can't get that kind of an image anywhere. Now it is getting a little dark because I've done it a couple times, but here you can see it's a little bit lighter if you haven't done it so many times. And isn't that fun? What an awesome background. I think that's really fun. So just out of curiosity, let's see what happens if we do it one more time. Oh, it's smeared. Yep, it's smeared. I think we're done. So anyway, that is my baby wipe technique with a twist. That way you're using even more of your ink. You're getting awesome images. We're going to try it. Let's see what happens. You can see this over here just kind of became a brown mush. Not so pretty. So I do have my Christmas card class this week. It is, I have one spot left Friday at 4. I have one spot left Friday at 7. And I have one spot left on Saturday at 9 a.m. The 9 a.m. class is going to be at my mom's place. So if my stairs are something that keep you from coming to class, you might consider coming Saturday morning. There we go. Aren't those fun? Look at that. Love that. All right. What else can I tell you? Let me show you some of the cards I got made. I apologize that I didn't get my samples from my Christmas class out sooner. With Kent being laid up and on a scooter, I guess I didn't finish my story. So Kent's on a scooter, and I've been taking a scooter up and down the stairs for a while. I did get a second scooter. A teacher loaned it to us, which is awesome. But I tripped over the scooter and I broke my toe. Fortunately, it's on my left foot so that I can still drive, thank goodness. But it's kind of made life a bit of a challenge. So I was going to show you here. Let me go back to these cards here just a second. So look how gorgeous this is. I did cut these papers at 4 by 5 1/4. And the reason I did that is so quite often on your edges, you can get something that you're not real happy with. So then I'm going to cut this down. And I found my ladies at class really like it because it gives you a chance to maybe trim off something that didn't go quite right. When we're doing techniques, I usually do the paper a little bit larger than it needs to be so we can cut off if we have pieces we're not, or parts of it that we're not real happy with. So see, I just cut 1/4 of an inch off each side. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that, how it brings out that dark color. And then I have, this is a crushed curry. If I get my fingers on it. Piece. So that'll be one of my cards. I have been just doing a simple thank you. I'll show you a few of the cards here that I made. I didn't even use the big leaves tonight. I forgot. So here's one I used the big leaf and the other two. So I had a nice variety and did a grateful for you. This one here is kind of the same color scheme as the one I just showed you. And I used that Blackberry Bliss ribbon with the gold on the edge. I think it's really pretty. So that is my technique for you. Let me show you some of the Christmas cards I've made. Thank you to my friend Fran. She gave me some advice. And my team member Cheryl, she let me borrow some cards for ideas too. So I'm using the birds. The first thing my mom said when she saw this was, "Ooh, this isn't your normal style." I am not a bird person. So this is a little out of my wheelhouse. This one I thought was neat because you could use it for winter wishes. It wouldn't have to be a Christmas card. You could make it Christmas or not. This one's kind of like an ornament with some greenery, and another one with the birds with a Merry Christmas theme. And then last night I got to play just a few minutes before I took Kent to his doctor's appointment. And I made these. So these will be some. I'm using the metallic dots for the balls. So that one's silver. This one has gold on it. This one, I used some of the Wink Stella. So these are same style. You'll get to pick what kind of dots you want to put on it. So there's the red dots. And then I took one and I did red and gold. So you'll have everything ready to make this, and then you can decide what color dots you want or gems. This one I thought was kind of fun. That's actually Lost Lagoon. Isn't that pretty? So those are some of the cards that'll be available Friday at 4, Friday at 7, Saturday at 9. Saturday at 9 is at my mom's place. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed checking out my fun little twist on the baby wipe technique. I'd love to see what you think with it. Remember to do your inside piece and your envelope so that you have all your pieces ready when you go to assemble. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next week.